income and wealth inequality than any other major country on earth, and it is worse today than at any time since 1928. Today in America, and I want you to hear this, the top 1/10 of 1%, not 1%, 1/10 of 1% owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. And today in America, at a time when many of you are not working 40 hours a week, but you're working 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week, we have people working 7 days a week, trying to cobble together enough income and health care to support their families. Despite all of that, 58% of all new income made today goes to the top 1%. Today in America, you've got one family, the Walton family, that owns more wealth than the bottom 40% of the American people. While the American middle class continues to shrink, in the last 2 years, 14 of the wealthiest people in this country saw their wealth increase by $156 billion. That is more wealth than is owned by the bottom 130 million Americans. In other words, brothers and sisters, we are living in a rigged economy. Heads they win, tails you lose. That has got to change. This campaign is sending a simple and straightforward message to the billionaire class, and that is your greed is destroying this country, and you're not going to continue to get away with it. You are not going to continue getting huge tax breaks when children in America go hungry. You are not going to continue sending millions of jobs to China and other low-wage countries when people here desperately need decent-paying jobs. You are not going to continue providing huge compensation packages to the CEOs of large corporations and then cutting back on the wages and the health care and the pensions of American workers. Not going to continue. But it's not just the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality that we are going to address. It is the fact that while we are better off today than we were 7 years ago when Bush left office, no doubt about that. And I do find it interesting, having suffered through the last Republican debate, and it really was hard to take, how without exception, all of them are suffering from this amnesia and their belief that every problem in the world is related to Barack Obama. Everything was just wonderful, roses and peaches, before Obama became president. They seem maybe to have forgotten that when Bush left office, we were losing 800,000 jobs a month. Forgot that. They forgot that when Bush left office, our financial system and the world's financial system was on the verge of collapse. Seem to have forgotten about that. Forgot that our deficit when Bush left office was $1.4 trillion, the largest deficit in the history of America. Forgot about that. But here's the point. We are better off than we were 7 years ago. But the truth is that for 40 years, the great middle class of this country, once the envy of the entire world has been disappearing. That's the reality. And together, our job is to rebuild that middle class.